GameIndustry.biz that Nintendo is playing favorites with indie developers.
Just like how Nintendo fanboy content creators are playing favorites in regards to avoiding certain subjects in the community. Like the backwards compatibility. How about that screen, Digital Foundry? We should have known after you came out with that video of Tears of Kingdom on your own channel that you wouldn't shill for this company. You know, I find it so funny that you guys call yourself Nintendo channels, but yet the only things you want to focus on is the positive topics and not the negative ones. I mean, you can't even say that Nintendo Prime because you literally got Nintendo in your own damn channels title. Like, how can you even avoid this subject, man? But I forgot. When you're a fanboy, you seem to do these things a lot.
And they have a reason for their favorites. And it's obviously upsetting a lot of indie devs. I think this is mostly a non-issue.
Of course it's a non-issue because it's Nintendo. But if it was PC, Microsoft, and Sony, it would most definitely be a problem.
Away within a year.
Come on, man.
I think right now it could be an issue and something that we need to discuss. Now, before we dive into this, I want to remind you we are giving a note. We're only like in the third week or so of the Switch 2 even being on the market. So, yeah, a lot of developers didn't have dev kits heading into June.
So whose fault is that?
Companies, PlayStation 5 and Xbox included, were not handing out dev kits to most indie devs until after the system came out. So I want to be very clear.
Yeah, but the system's been out for what, 3 weeks, close to a month? So what is the excuse that you're going to miraculously come about as to why Nintendo didn't make sure that these indie developers had Switch 2 dev kits?
A history of winning. Market. So, yeah, a lot of developers didn't have dev kits heading into June because most companies, PlayStation 5 and Xbox included, were not handing out dev kits to most indie devs until after the system came out. So
keyword, after the system came out. Now, in the situation that you're complaining about, it's been 3 weeks with the Nintendo Switch 2, and they still haven't got their dev kits yet? How are you going to spin this?
Very clear. It hasn't even been out for a month.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. You went as far to say that with the PS5 and Xbox, when they dropped their dev kits to indies, it was as soon as the console launched. But with Nintendo, it's barely been a month. You see what I'm saying? You see how they always try to spin it? This is how you know you're dealing with a fanboy. When they take something negative and find a way to spin it. Like, what do you complain? You're like most companies, that's how they do it. Then what's the problem with Nintendo Switch?
It hasn't even been out for a month. Okay, keep that context in mind as we read this article.
Yeah, it hasn't been out for... Keep that context in mind? What are you talking about? Keep that context in mind, buddy. Like, what? If anything, that just makes this situation worse. It was bad enough with the PS5 and Xbox, but man, you got indie developers waiting, what, close to a month just to get something? Come on, man. Oh, just keep that context in mind. It's only been out for less than a month.
Let's scroll down here and it says, I would like Citizen Sleeper 2.
It's clearly not Nintendo's fault, even though we got batteries bulging out of the thing. The screen is built out of a low quality. It's not Nintendo's fault. Let's blame GameStop for why there was broken switches at launch, even though they never manufactured them. Matter of fact, let's also blame GameStop for stapling the boxes with the receipt on it, knowing that this has been going on for quite some time, but unfortunately the Switch 2 didn't have the proper precautions as to how they bundled your console, which clearly shows that Nintendo really didn't give a damn about how they packaged no damn thing in the first place. And let's blame GameStop. Bro. What is wrong with you fanboys, man? Y'all gotta stop doing this, man. Like I said, man, I got 5 Nintendo Switches. I probably have more Switch games than Nintendo Prime. But, man, this type of stuff that y'all be doing is laughable to me.
To have been on Switch 2 at launch, but that wasn't possible, says Gareth Damian Martin. They're not the only indie developer that wasn't invited to the Switch 2 party. Looking at the current list of titles for Nintendo's latest console, there are very few games from indie devs. Deltarune and No Man's Sky are among the lucky ones that managed to get past the velvet rope. Tony Gowland from the Edinburgh... Oh my god, guys, we're still in the month it launched! Switch 2 launched this month!
Yeah. And like you said, as an argument, PS5 and Xbox didn't drop theirs to the indie developers. They dropped it as soon as the system launched, which is probably not something they normally do. But hey, it did get dropped as soon as the system came out, which means that they could have started working on games. We weren't talking about 1, 2, 3, or even close to a month for Nintendo Prime. How are you capping for this? Talking about it's not a problem. What do you mean it's not a problem? Indie companies make games that more likely gamers would want to play, which means that, yes, people should be disappointed in this. But no, let's talk about how well it sold at launch. Let's talk about how many consoles it sold, even though people are returning them after they brick the console, and now stores and retailers are dealing with it. Y'all don't want to talk about none of these issues, bro. This is how you know you're dealing with a fanboy. If you didn't know that by just looking at the title of this man's channel, Nintendo Prime, then you people have completely lost it.
Okay. He still hasn't had an idea of when fellow traveler might receive some dev kits. I just gotta say something about... Every time I see PC handhelds brought up as like this major competitor for Switch 2, I don't think people quite understand what's happening. In 4 days, Nintendo Switch 2 sold north,
See? You see what this is all about, man? You know you're dealing with a fanboy when the only argument that they can bring up is sales. That still doesn't take away of all the features that you could benefit from gaming on a PC portable device. Like who does this? Like, you gotta ask yourself, who cares about these subjects that you people are talking about besides fanboys?
North of 3.5 million units.
Oh, well, it showed 3.5 million units. The Steam Deck only showed 4 million within 1 year, but it has free online. It can play the same games that we have, that we pay $50 a year for free. We get, I mean, the power is really not that much of a discrepancy. But, and it's also cheaper, right? But the Switch 2 is better.
That is more than the reported total sales of Steam Decks.
See, you know, it's funny. That's why I said it, because I already knew he was going to come up with that. Gamester with another W. You guys are so predictable. No wonder you guys don't like me. Because I know the truth. It's fine. We get it. But I wouldn't go as far to say, to bash, because I would love to have a Steam Deck. Y'all know. I've told people, man, I'm just waiting to see how the prices go down, and I'll more likely pick up any of these things. I would have picked up the Switch 2 if it wasn't for those game key cards, Nintendo Prime, and all the other anti-consumer things that are going on with the Switch 2. At this point, I only really want it for the backwards compatibility, because I do have a lot of games, but I can honestly wait on that. I can see how things play out, because I can still enjoy my Switch 1, especially after seeing that Marvel vs. Capcom and Pikmin 3 running on that damn thing, and it makes me wonder, thank God that I kept my Nintendo Switch 1s.
Since it came out 3 years ago.
I had somebody tell me, oh, you should just sell all your Switch 1s for a Switch 2 so I can no longer play the same games I had access to. I got a physical copy of Gex Trilogy coming. I won't be able to play that on that Switch 2 if I ever got one.
And Steam Deck is the #1 selling portable PC handle. I don't really feel like indies are intentionally targeting these PC handhelds. They're just targeting PC, and they just happen to run on those handhelds. That's the way most games work on the PC handhelds. They're not targeting the PC handhelds.
Do you understand how many, bro? There are so many indie games on PC, bro. How can you even go as far to say that? They got so many games that I don't even see that are on console. I'm being honest. A lot of games hit the PC first. Now you're saying that they're not a top priority? What? Yo, let's hear it again. Let's hear it again.
They're targeting these PC handhelds.
They're not targeting it. Because they don't need to target the handheld. They just target the ecosystem that it's on. Steam, which can be accessed through anything. You're right. You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I kind of over-exaggerated. You're right. Because you're saying, hey, see, this is what console fanboys do. They look at it solely from the console. What do you mean? They don't need to target the Steam Deck. And they could just target it on Steam, and then the same game could be played on the Steam Deck. So explain to me how that makes sense.
PC, and they just happen to run on those handhelds. That's the way most games work on the PC handhelds. They're not targeting the PC handhelds.
Bro. Listen, bro. You just went as far to say they're not targeting the PC handhelds. They just happen to run on them. You know what? You know why? You know why they run on the PC handheld? No different than they do on the PC? Ding, 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 ding. Good answer, Carl, because it's a PC handheld. Oh man, we got another J-Dub, man. Except this time it's Nintendo Prime. Let's hear it one more time.
Getting these PC handhelds. They're just targeting PC.
They're just targeting PC.
And they just happen to run on those handhelds.
They just happen to run on the handhelds, which you just said was a P. Which what you just said was a P. Which you just said it runs on PC. They just happen to run on the handheld, which happens to be a PC handheld.
That's the way most games work on the PC handhelds. They're not targeting the PC handhelds. They're targeting PC. And
I can't, bro. I can't do this no more.
they're just targeting PC, and they just happen to run on those handhelds. That's the way most games work on the PC handhelds. They're not targeting the PC handhelds. They're targeting PC. And then...
But you just said the handheld's a PC. Which also be... Bro, I should not have to explain this, man. I should not have to explain this to anybody, man. This is how you know you're so much in the console wars and higher sales over the other competitors, and you're not. You console gamers are not making any sense. What are you talking about?
And if they're within spec, they can run on those handhelds. Switch 2 has to actually be targeted for. So, agree with this statement at all in this article?
Of course you don't, because it's Nintendo, and you have to do everything to defend them. What are you talking about? What are you saying? You're saying that third party is targeting the Nintendo Switch 2? No, they're not. They gotta. Hold on. Let me hear that again. What?
And then, if they're within spec, they can run on those handhelds. Switch 2 has to actually be targeted for.
Switch 2 has to actually be targeted for. What are you talking about? This man's acting as if the Switch 2 is any of importance to third party. That's why 99% of your games are on a game key card, buddy. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, the Switch 2 has to be targeted. What? Huh? Targeted what? What?
So, I don't agree with this statement at all.
Of course you don't.
Not only is it not really competition, also they're
not competition.
Targeting those platforms specifically in the first place. They're just targeting PCs in general.
And you just said that the PC handheld was a PC. What, bro? I can't.
The extra oomph to make games exclusively for Switch 2, or
bro, listen, your games that you have don't have no extra oomph. Mario Kart World probably can run on a PS4 and Xbox One. What are you talking about? Extra oomph? What oomph are you talking about? Mario Kart World, that is y'all example of a graphical showpiece game? It has that technical oomph. Huh? It look no different than any other Mario Kart game, but just open world and a little bit more, a little cleaned up and all that. I'm not downplaying the visual quality. I'm just saying, like, y'all acting like it turned the world over on its head. It didn't do that.
Exclusively for Switch 2, and they are not necessarily opening the floodgates yet. Again, 3 weeks into June, not opening the floodgates yet for all indie developers to have access. Guys, this to me is really par for the course. As was noted, as there's some frustration from certain indie developers, some of them understand that this.
I don't know why you would be on the side of Nintendo, considering that these indie developers could be making games for you as we speak. Which also means there's less games for you, but your counter argument, 33.5 million Switches sold in the first week. This is why I don't, bro. I swear, bro, if every time somebody brings up a fiscal report or what are you benefiting as a consumer? The thing that you're advocating against is something that you could be benefiting from if Nintendo did their due diligence. I don't care about how much money Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have. If I use it as an example, it's to essentially tell you about maybe a strategy that they're doing. But besides that, I'm not going to expect the average quote-unquote gamer to care about this. Hey guys, I have one Switch 2 in my house, but 3.5 of them sold. Okay, what does this do for the one that I have now? Oh, it does absolutely nothing. I think I would rather have Nintendo do the indie developers, because at least I can see what games they'll have come out for the Switch too. You sure? Because 3.5 million is a lot. But I'm not benefiting from that. What's actually going on with Nintendo right now is actually things that I could be benefiting from.
but it's 3.5 million. That's a fanboy.
Normal. This is what happens with PlayStation.
Like, if you're
What happens
advocating against games not coming to your platform, you're most definitely a fanboy. Only a fanboy would do this crap.
Xbox happened with Switch. It's happening with Switch too.
No, it did not happen with Xbox, and no, it did not. Not that I know of. According to what you said, PS5 and Xbox had it on the day that the system launched, which is probably something that probably normally doesn't happen. Now we're finding out that this is 3 weeks, close to a month. It's not the same. It's not.
Slow rollout. It's
Here we go. The slow rollout. Get money. Nintendo gonna get money. Like that, we gonna roll out. Roll out, get money. They ain't a damn thing funny. Nintendo gon' go get money. Backwards with a compatibility. It don't work on my Switch 2. Should have kept my Switch 1, dude. What the hell you gonna do? Nintendo don't care about you. Roll out. Roll out. Roll out.
It's going to take until
Roll
the end
out.
of this year before Nintendo really has things opened up.
Oh, it's going to take a year now, buddy. A year? Listen, man. I don't have a Switch 2, but people getting tired of Mario Kart World already. All right? Y'all putting all your bananas in one basket for Donkey Kong Bonanza? Roll out, get money.
Anyone who wants a dev kit to get one, as long as you're a legit game
get
developer.
money.
So, yeah, I do think that this is much to do about nothing. I think that
Roll out.
understand the frustration
Roll
of
out.
developers being like, oh, we
Roll
want to
out.
have our games ready day one.
Roll
Look, it's
out.
probably better your game wasn't. There was already
What?
24 launch games.
24 launch games, and 22 of them was on a game key card, buddy. Cyberpunk, bro, you see? They're defending game keys. I thought Nintendo was for video game physical preservation, which we know because they didn't support the idea of those games. That's why Cyberpunk and Mario Kart World sold the best on the platform. But we got people like you that do defend the game key cards, but then you go as far to bash PS5 with the DRM disk drive and Xbox with the synchronized online for the first time. It's a matter of like, okay, you're a fan of a piece of, but it's a matter of just you identifying the room and understanding what's going on. That's what makes you a fanboy, when you're completely oblivious to everything that's going on. And I know, guys, where that Xbox video of them 6,000 employees dropped. I didn't see that one, Gamester. You see, I brought it up. I know. I'm sorry, I just couldn't get to it because, you know, we had other things going on, which we won't touch up on. But still, we getting back to the, you know, the normal videos. And this is what y'all doing.
The biggest day one launch libraries in console history.
What? Biggest launch what? Yo! Somebody get this man.
Better your game wasn't. There was already
Somebody get this man right now before he said this, bro. Please. Please, bruh. I'm trying to help you, man.
24 launch games, one of the
22 on a game key card.
biggest day one launch libraries in console history.
Biggest launch library, bro. It was trash. The only game worth on it is Mario Kart World. You got a bunch of cross-gen games, and even then, I think the PS2 had 29 at launch, and it were far better games than what the Switch had. Bro, Switch 2's launch is trash, unless you want to play survival, kid. Cyberpunk 2077, Mario Kart World. You know, that definitely sounds like one hell of a launch for Nintendo, man. Backwards compatibility that don't work, bulging Switch, LCD screen that got lower quality. Yo, what? Best launch from Nintendo?
You probably want to spread stuff out. You're going to want your releases spread out. So,
here we go. You got Listen, man, I'm trying to play these games now. That's why y'all hyped up for Donkey Kong Bonanza, because that's coming out next month. Don't tell me you hyped up for that game because you got to wait a few years to play one.
I'm not worried about like the future of indie games on Switch.
Wow. You know how... you hear that?
You hear that, indie developers? Make sure y'all share this to the indie developers. Apparently, Nintendo fanboys don't care about your games. Even though you did help build them on the Wii, you helped build them on the Switch. Apparently, they don't like your games. Oh, okay. Well, maybe indie should support the PC handhelds instead, according to the Nintendo fanboys. Because if that was the case, then why the hell is your eShop filled with nothing but indie garbage? A lot of it. I'm not saying all the indie games are bad. I'm just saying, for a guy to say that, we don't need you now, indies, but yet your whole eShop is filled with them.
Shoot,
And the sad part about it, you put the garbage ones in the front, and you can't even sort them out.
that is something to worry about. That's like saying we were worried about the future of indie games on Switch back in the day, when it took 6 to 7 months before all indie devs could get it. Again,
I'm done. But that's the difference.
To me, this is like much to do about.
All right, you know what, man? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video, man. He just admitted that the Switch 2 has a lack of games. They don't got no indie support, third parties on the game key card, the screen's low quality. There's a lot of things he ain't touching up on, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to touch up on this subject, and we finally got to. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and take care. Peace out.